Anyway, so back to what I was saying about this. One thought that comes to mind is just the fact that when every single instance of like you finding out, that's great. Every single instance you, I'm not playing with game sounds on, by the way. I never really do. I guess I just like kind of talking to myself. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should switch to game sounds. I don't want to mess with the audio too much though. I'm already somewhat dialed in. So I'm just going to keep it for now. Okay, bro. Please, just get away from me, man. Surprised this bow is still up and running. It's gonna break here. Here. Oh man, this thing is kicking. Oh man, I'm nuts. All right, this bow is clutching up. Anyway, so as I was saying, every single instance of feeling excluded or finding out that, you know, there's something you wanted to do that you just weren't invited to, especially when it's your people who you consider your friends who are not including you in whatever activity, it just really adds to your insecurity that you're not interesting enough and that, you know, you're not really someone that anyone would really want to hang out with. It just really adds to that, which of course doesn't help you in any situation because your confidence is lowered, and it's just a downward cycle which is hard to fight against. I mean, it's not like the end of the world. It doesn't like totally destroy your confidence because eventually you build up a tolerance to it, and I think it also just shows that a mentality you need to have is just that getting excluded from things might just kind of be a part of life currently that, I mean, it's kind of never going to go away fully, but it's just kind of a sucky part of life that, you know, you just have to deal with, and you just have to accept it and still try to enjoy things regardless. Anyway, yeah, so in a similar vein, I guess while I'm talking about it, I will talk about, I guess, the other reason, like normally I wouldn't be, like, super duper phased about, being excluded from things, because like I said, I have a level of tolerance to it at this point. But the issue is that there's just been a lot of things recently that I've just been excluded from. In a time where I've been particularly putting in the effort to try to include other people to things, really just being like as inclusive as possible, inviting people to, like, I had a party a couple of weeks ago where I just invited totally random people who aren't necessarily cool, but I invited them regardless because I know how it feels to be excluded from something. So I invited them anyway, and I invited a ton of people like this. I really try my best to invite literally everyone, people who I would not normally think of inviting, I invited anyway. And I'm just realizing that I forgot to invite someone that I should have invited. Darn. Alright, it is what it is. I mean, but I did try to invite as many people as possible, and to a large degree was a success. Which makes, I mean, but the world doesn't work in a way where if you do something that's good, something in the same category, good will happen back to you. Like, I'm not saying that karma doesn't exist, because it probably does to some degree, but that doesn't mean that a good thing will happen to you in the same vein. Like, you including someone doesn't mean you will be included. It just means that in some other aspect of life, something good might happen to you. So, you know, who knows. But anyway, it still doesn't feel good when you are excluded, even though you are including people, because it doesn't seem fair. But life isn't fair. Anyway, there was a party last weekend, a graduation party that I wasn't invited to. Not necessarily that I should have been invited to, but I have a suspicion that some of my friends who I normally go to parties with were at the party and just didn't tell me about it. It because I sent my friend a text message like either the day before the party or the day of the party, asking him if he knew of any parties that were happening that weekend, and he just didn't respond to the message ever. He just saw it and didn't respond. Which, I mean, if you're my friend, I feel like you should be at least responding, at least say no, or at least just be upfront and saying like, I'd rather go with so and so, and at least respond, you know. But yeah, just no response, which just doesn't feel good. It's not even so much that I didn't like go to the party or like, you know, wasn't invited to it. It's more about the fact that like, if you know, that like my friend should at least keep me in the loop when it comes to these things, especially since I certainly would keep them in the loop whenever, you know, I have any information about the party or something, which, I mean, I have done in the past. I have done. And also, yeah, so you can be extremely nice, because I am quite nice to my friends. I've done so many favors for them, and yeah, that just isn't reciprocated in the way that they treat me, which really just means that they're not good friends. But also, it just speaks to how the world kind of works, and that just being nice to someone doesn't really mean that they have an obligation to really include you in things or be nice back. Like, it's the same thing with like dating, where like, you know, just because you're nice to someone doesn't mean that they're obliged to like date you, like, obviously. So it's really the same situation. Just because you're nice to someone doesn't mean they have the obligation to include you to things that they don't want to. I mean, is it fair, particularly since sometimes they do want me to hang out and sometimes they don't, and it's seemingly at random when they don't? I don't think it's fair, but it's just kind of the way things are. So anyway, yeah, that's just some of the frustrating things that have been going on with that.